clubs, etc., whereby, and in this you will have a simulated sun, which will be 30 feet in diameter. Now, this sun is of a caliber of a Fabutan type of sun with the ultraviolet rays. You will actually be able to tan yourself without having to travel too far. Enjoy all this just a few minutes away from home. It was something that the world has never seen. The reason for this, amongst, let's not forget, our retailers, we're adding approximately 1,750,000 feet of total space, which will include 2 more department stores. One of them, we hopefully will be of one of the American department stores. They're before FIRA now, and if they get the okay, they'll join us in 1985. We're adding many more service stores. A lot of these stores, by the way, are from the requests that we have through this program. Type of stores that we feel that mostly have a service nature. So therefore, we will continue on that basis.
Are all of these proposals, or is this fact? Is this what's going to be?
It is fact. It is fact today. Our plans have just been finished yesterday. We are now on the drawing boards for our final working drawings. We start construction hopefully sometime in March, towards the end of March. It will employ permanently for the next, for the next year and a half or year and 3/4, some 3,000 additional employees in construction work. The mall will employ on a permanent basis 15,000 people. That's the largest industry probably in the country without a smokestack. It will give an employment security and stability in Edmonton that we all desire to have.
Now, the big question, of course, right now, the big talk around town is the construction of the casino and whether or not that should be located at West Edmonton Mall or whether it should be located at the Convention Center, which if they don't put it in there, it might very well soon be a white elephant. What do you think your chances are of having that proposal approved by City Hall?
Let's put it in the right perspective. The recipient is charity. The recipient are the needy. West Edmonton Mall, sure, through, if you call it an ulterior motive, it's just another amenity, another recreational facility if you want, but we're willing to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Not the public. The public would have to pay for the casino in the downtown convention center, and because it would cost some $8 or $9 million, properly done, as you will soon see what we propose. Therefore, we are willing to contribute $8 million to charity, strictly to charity. We give full autonomy to whatever agency would run it. We would allow the government to run it. We would allow the Gaming Commission to run it. All we want to do is build it and give it to charity and donate some $50 to $60 million a year to the needy. There are some 350 to 360 charities a year.
And actually, there's the picture of the proposed casino. Is this basically what it would look like, or is this just an artist's idea?
This is the concept, and this is what it would look like upon completion. Mm-hmm. We would improve in some aspect, but our casinos today are 250 seaters. We propose 1,000 seater to make it world-renowned, or let's say Canada-renowned. We would like it to be not a casino of a Las Vegas type. There are restrictions, gambling restrictions. There's a $200 limit, and you're only looking at hundreds of dollars of betting, not thousands. So it's more of a fun place than really a gambling place.
So we need to worry of perhaps organized crime being drawn even closer to Edmonton city limits.
Not at all, because organized crimes really relate to the high rollers.
What we're looking at now is yet another idea for Phase 3. What's this all about?
Now we're getting to our fantasy land, what we described that we're making 3 times the size. Our fantasy land will consist of a complete space odyssey, simulated space flights. What you're looking now is a pressurized by air specialized space capsule. Instead of playing video games from outwardly, you will be playing video games from inwardly. You can actually move at 180 degrees, fighting simulated Star Wars and spaceships, and actually score. And if you're shot, you come all the way down. Do you see the size of the man? It is more than 3 times the size of man, but we are still building that another twice as high. It will be about 30 feet high. So when you actually It is the closest thing to being in outer space. Through this vehicle, we have now expanded onto a complete space odyssey with space shuttle simulated flight, a 360-degree Omnimax theater showing the... it's the closest thing to being to a shuttle service to the moon. It is space odyssey, never to be equaled again. Disneyland and Disney World would awe at what we're doing in Phase 3 related to space.
I have one final question I'm going to ask you before we throw the lines open and ask our viewers for their suggestions and input as to what they would like to see in Phase 3 before it begins construction. Do you think at all about the mega mall that you've created and about its effect on downtown business and on other shopping centers? Do you feel any responsibility towards businesses in Edmonton that aren't located within the parameters of West Edmonton Mall?
Very good question. Really, a very good question. From the inception, probably from the inception, presently, West Edmonton Mall and the theme behind this particular growth of West Edmonton Mall is to bring tourism to Edmonton. Mm-hmm. We are not just doing it for a few people in Western Canada. This now becomes national. It becomes international, North America and Europe. We probably will have one of the largest tourist attractions in Canada for sure. We anticipate 5 to 8 million people a year upon completion. Now, all Edmontonians have to benefit through this facility, and we are now talking very close in 1985, so we're only a year and a half away from this magnificent facility being built. Hopefully, that all Edmontonians, I'm talking businesses in general, and even whoever, just to be close to this magnificent complex, should be honored and to be part of the city. And I feel that with that many millions of people in the city, all businesses will prosper.
Well, you certainly are a man who have visions. Now let's see if other people can add to your suggestions and your ideas and see if perhaps some of those might be incorporated into Phase 3. Let's take some calls. Are you ready? Hello, good morning. Thank you for your patience and waiting.
And good morning to Mr. Rubin Stahl. So far, if 555 Corporation can come through with what Mr. Rubin Stahl said, I think it will be a fantastic idea. As he said, the Edmontonians, as well as the rest of the country, will benefit by they have already benefited by Phase 2, not only what he's proposed for Phase 3. So my support is for Phase 3 to go in, plus the fact, like he said, if it creates that much of employment, and I would like to think that this much of employment not only will employ anything that anybody's looking for a job within the city, but also province-wide.
Do you shop at West Edmonton Mall?
Pardon?
Do you shop at West Edmonton Mall?
Most definitely, most definitely.
Okay.
And I shop there, and I also like the idea of when you shop there, you can shop in a relaxed atmosphere, if you will, because you got the entertainment. As you're walking and you're shopping through, you got different things that you can sort of relax as you're not sort of rushing around.
This isn't one of the Gramasian brothers, is it?
I don't think it doesn't sound like him.
Okay.
They have more of a little dialect.
Thank you for your call, sir. We have to take a quick commercial break. I'm getting a frantic signal here, but we will be back in 2 minutes' time to take more of your calls. Rubin Stahl is our guest this morning. He's the Executive Vice President of 555 Corporation, and we're taking your calls now on your suggestions towards West Edmonton Mall, improvements, and Phase 3. What would you like to see? Let's go back to the phones now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Didn't hear him talk about facilities for space illusions for kids.
Wasn't that basically what that picture was all about?
Well, he talked about it, what you could go in and more or less as an adult. You're looking at about 25 to 30 years old or even...
So you're talking about something geared for children?
Yes.
And what will it include?
Yeah.
Mr. Stahl?
Sure. I said it would take us 3.5 hours to try and describe what we have. But we have a children's parachute jump, a children's wave swing, a children's roller coaster, a children's Mighty Mouse wave swing, a mystery revolving crazy house for children, a video games for children, All video games were always made for grown-ups. You're going to see small video games throughout the complex, space shuttles for children. Everything that we have now will also almost be duplicated for children.
Okay, let's go on. Hello, good morning. Hello, are you with us?
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you have a
What I
question?
would like to ask Mr. Stoll, are we going to have more escalators?
Oh.
In this other new complex, there aren't so many, and when you're walking from one end to the other, you know, there's quite a...
Or how about moving sidewalks?
That's it. What we call them movators. Very good question, madam. We will incorporate movators into our complex now. The movators will strictly be to bring people with wheelchairs, and a movator is a moving sidewalk, but not straight, it's upwards. In other words, that's why it's called a movator. It moves upwards like an escalator, only on a treadmill, on a belt. So we're incorporating that. Also, we are looking very, very closely at moving trains throughout the mall. It definitely will be incorporated into it, but the types will be similar to the types that you have in Toronto Airport.
Will there be a fee attached to you?
No, they'll be free on a continuous basis at a very slow pace, but if you wish to take a ride through, and there'll be every few minutes you'll have another one come by with 4 or 5 little carts behind it. Very, very, very adorable, very cute.
I'm glad you brought up that point. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'd like to direct my question to Mr. Stahl. And I'm just wondering if he feels any responsibility to citizenship as far as to develop the moral fiber of the children who will be attending his mall. I'm thinking that, for example, he's bringing in choices regarding sex, their clothing choices, theaters, books. With regard to gambling, there'll be casinos, arcades, games. With regard to sports, there's going to be a beach as well as this hockey and surfing type of activities. And,
what's your worry, and what would you like to see, ma'am?
I would like to see a Sunday school open every day of the week. Classrooms in the various malls where the various churches are welcome upon bookings to come in and organize this.
Okay, Mr. Stahl?
It's a very good point. We have 3 churches we're talking to now. As you know, we have donated a part of our land to a church on just the farthest corner of the 555 complex. And talking to 3 churches, we probably will have a permanent church on the site, and the rest would be up to them with Bible classes and whatnot, however they run their particular church. But we are looking for that. With 15,000 employees in the mall, I think there will be a necessity for a house of worship.
So they will have their facility, and it's up to them to do with it what they wish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hi there.
Yes, surprised it didn't even ring. I just dialed in.
Aha! I guess I have a faster finger than you.
Hey, I was just wondering, we lived out in the West End for quite some time, and my mother is still out there, and the traffic is somewhat unbelievable on 170th Street, which everybody knows. I was wondering, before the Phase 3 is completed, whether you think the city's plans for LRT to the West End would be also something that would be considered.
The city is now building a permanent bus terminal to provide facility for the most beautiful. I wish I had a picture of it. I would have brought it. It is a superb bus terminal right on our site, which we have now, but people still have to wait outdoors. We're talking to city for an LRT expansion. Hopefully that 85, 86, maybe 87, we could possibly encourage them to, with the amount of people and being the largest shopping center in the world now, and bringing some 600,000 to 700,000 people a week through the facility. I think that is a very good point, madam. I thank you for your call.
Thank you for your call. What about increasing the size of the roads, widening them even further? Is that possible, or doing something to try and alleviate some of that congestion?
I think the roads are quite adequate. I think we should work more with a lighting system. We'd like to have the city look into more left-hand turns, more right-hand turns through the lighting system at certain times to program the lights when the traffic is heaviest, to make traffic move through the various 170th Street at 87th and at 90th. And I think with the city participating with us, we'll be able to move traffic a little better than it is presently.
All right, who's going to pay for those improvements, As?
We always pay for the improvements. We've paid for all our road system in the area. We pay for everything.
We being the taxpayer.
We 555.
Really?
That's right.
So you will pay for lighting improvements even if it just changes in signals or whatever?
That's right.
Well, we can't argue with that. Let's go out of town. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'd just like to commend Mr. Stahl and the 555 Corporation on this endeavor, and that will provide so much construction employment in a time when, you know, the construction industry is in dire straits. And I know my husband, he got work on Phase 2, and I guess he'll be hoping to get work on Phase 3. And I think it's terrific, and I wish more businesses, I guess we're in a position to go ahead with something like this. And also, I know that whenever we have visitors from different parts of Canada, we always bring them to West Edmonton Mall, and they think it's great. They're a little jealous, but they think it's great.
Isn't that wonderful?
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Carville.
Well, thank you very much for your call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And if you call back later and leave your name with Mr. Stahl, perhaps he'll make sure that your husband is included in that as well.
For sure.
Oops, that person has given up. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to comment on the casino.
All right.
I feel I would like to see the casino located downtown Edmonton, preferably the convention center. The reason I feel this is that it seems to me every good city in Canada, or even great city in Canada, is known for its main street, such as Toronto and Yonge Street, Montreal and St. Catharines, and Vancouver, even Granville Street. I think it would be a benefit to all Edmontonians to have it downtown, to develop the downtown, to get people thinking about Edmonton and Jasper Avenue, not located in a private sector.
Mr. Stahl?
It's a good point. If they so desire, if that is the wish of the public.
Then you'll go along with that without a fight?
Without a fight, completely. Because, as I said before, ours is only a donation. And to donate $8 million to charity, and the recipients would be the various charities, $60, $70 million. If the downtown so desires, without ulterior motive, because we do not have ulterior motive, we have a facility to attract people presently. The casino would only be one of the other recreational facilities.
Of course, the one in the convention center would not be as elaborate as the one that is proposed for West Edmonton Mall. And secondly, the one downtown would be one that we would have to pay for. Okay.
Probably.
Thank you for your call, sir. I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Yes, I was just wondering, I sort of sit on both sides of the coin. I shop at West Edmonton Mall as a consumer, and I enjoy it very much, but I also work at West Edmonton Mall in one of the stores in Phase 1. And I was just wondering, since Phase 2 opened, business has become very, very slow at our end of the mall, and I was wondering what West Edmonton Mall was going to do in order to promote the other ends of the mall.
I've heard that criticism as well.
Good point. Presently, if you walk through the mall, you will see the most magnificent bird cages in brass that will house parrots, talking parrots. We're putting beautiful sea life in with sharks throughout all of Phase 1. All Phase 1 is being upgraded to compete with Phase 2, and there'll never be a Phase 1, 2, or 3 again. It'll be one phase, West Edmonton Mall, upon completion. The mall's not completed. We're only going through phases now. Upon completion, there'll never be a 1, 2, or 3. There'll be one overall mall.
Thank you very much for your call, ma'am. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I would like to suggest that they're putting casino in. Why don't they put a dance floor in like they're putting stuff for children and stuff like that? Why don't they put a dance floor in with the lights and all that on it too?
Okay.
Good point. We're doing many dance floors. We're building a street called Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street will house 15 nightclubs. It's as if you were it's a simulated street, and actually have a dinner theater, we'll have a live theater, which will have acts like Anne Murray, etc., a 350-seater, a 750-seat dinner theater. It will also have from discotheques to ballroom dancing. It will have the most beautiful clubs probably you have seen in the world, and it will be a one-stop. When you say, let's go to a club, you will come to West Edmonton Mall. So that'll be provided for, madam. Thank you.
Thank you for your call, ma'am. I have one final question for you just before we run out of time. What kind of role do you think that Phase 3 is going to play in increasing business? Is it going to attract shoppers, or is it going to attract curious spectators and browsers?
Shoppers and browsers are impulse buyers. As long as we have people, they'll be shopping, and they'll bring more people to Edmonton. And one last remark, that 555 really is very bullish on Alberta. We believe in our government. We feel we have a good government, both city and provincial. we have been romanced from one city, from one part of the world to the other, to come and try and duplicate what we've done here. But all our efforts are being put into Alberta, for Albertans, for Edmontonians, and all our construction ventures will be in this city for the next 5 or 10 years.
Well, at least we know something will be going up, and there will be some work for some Edmontonians and Albertans as well. Mr. Stahl, thanks so much for taking some time to be with us this morning.
Very welcome.
If you do have suggestions, just clip out that newspaper ad that they've been running for months and jot them down and send them to the address you see in the newspaper. We'll take a commercial break, and we'll be back right after this. The proposed indoor amusement park in West Edmonton Mall that once completed will be Canada's answer to Disneyland. It's going to create 2,400 permanent staff positions. Will probably draw close to 8 million tourists annually, pumping $167 million into the provincial economy each year. Now, after all of that, there seems to be some question as to whether or not it's going to be built in Edmonton. And today, Mr. Rubin will join us to fill us in on the details. Sarah Bishop is what's going on in West Edmonton Mall. I'm holding in my hand a copy of a telegram that was fired off from Frankfurt, Germany to Travel Alberta, which of course is a government agency that wants to know about West Edmonton Mall because German television wants to come over and film in it. They want to see what's going on. They want to know what's going on as well. I hold in my hand the latest copy of Sport magazine. Inside, The Man Who Owns Canada, a picture, of course, of anyone else other than Wayne Gretzky. And also it mentions West Edmonton Mall, the world's largest indoor shopping center. An artificial lake will be added for swimming and water skiing with artificial waves for surfing, artificial sun for tanning purposes. It goes on to say that it's a nightmare of excess that a visitor from the United States can truly appreciate. This is a mall that is going to be drawing people from all over the world, and to tell us more about their proposed plans for the indoor amusement park, the Executive Vice President of 555 Corporation, Mr. Rubin. Good morning.
Good morning, and how are you, dear?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm just outstanding.
Well, you never are anything less. You must be truly amazed at the requests that are coming in and the press coverage from across the world.
Yes, this is only the tip of the iceberg. We have hundreds and hundreds of letters from all across that people are ready to come, and we had the Disney people in 3 weeks ago who anticipate some 8 to 14 million people a year coming into Edmonton. I must tell you, I was just in Los Angeles with these people last week, and we walked through Disneyland and through Los Angeles, 9 million people, and 9 million people, their unemployment situation is only 6%. So I said, how do you attribute it? They said, our major industry here is tourism. Tourism spells it all. It's hundreds of millions of dollars coming into the city of Los Angeles and surrounding areas because of Disney World. Now, Disney World is nothing compared to what we want to do here. They anticipate we will bring 8 to 14 million people. It's mind-boggling as to what this can do for our economy, what this can do for Alberta, what it can do for Edmonton. It's only the tip. We already bring 2 million people in. You know that 50% of the people walking in the mall today is a tourist. Now, when you consider all this, why? Why not build what we have in our mind? Why not build what we want to do? But we need assistance. We need government assistance. And I know that was going to be your next question.
What kind of government assistance are you looking for?
We're looking for $80 million at a rate that we can discuss with the government. The banks will not give us this money. The banks will only give us money for construction that you relate to dollars per square foot income, that they can actually put into their portfolio and say, yes, we know that we know where our money is going. Here, we are ready to give a AAA guarantee with all of 555's resources, plus West Edmonton Mall, guaranteed 100%. They will be assured of that we will repay this loan, and that the economy will recover, employment will recover to reduce it by 3 to 4%. Can you imagine if we can reduce employment here by 3 to 4%? Because oil is not flowing. The only thing, if we brought any major industry in, it couldn't recoup as fast as we can do with this facility. Tourism, Lorraine, is the largest industry in the world without a smokestack. And by God, we have to do something about it. All the people out there will appreciate it, and everyone will benefit from downtown to uptown from what we are prepared to do.
So all of the other criticisms have gone by the wayside now. What's going to happen to downtown Edmonton? What's going to happen to the other shopping centers? What's going to happen to other businesses? All that's going to happen is everything's going to receive a bit of an upsurge, or a lot of an upsurge, if we build this park?
Without question, because water seeks its own level. I mean, you know, you pour water into a glass, you're going to spread it all over. I mean, people will be dispersed through this entire city. We have a beautiful downtown, getting more beautiful by the day. We have beautiful legislative ground. People will be dispersed through this entire city. All we need are people. Can you imagine we are only 680,000 people in this area, and envision 8 to 14 million people a year coming through this? My God, everyone will benefit. Downtown are doing extremely well. We are even starting shortly with 2 50-story towers in downtown because we have confidence in the downtown. We have confidence in the city. In construction, we have confidence that things are going to get better. But this is to economic recovery almost instantaneously.
All right, what's going to happen to the residential area around West Edmonton Mall with a high traffic volume that is going to be seen once this park is built?
What will happen will be looked at as far as roads and overpasses. We're looking at all possibilities. We will relieve all tension of all traffic possibilities in the area. There's no question in my mind that the person living in that area his house or their homes will appreciate because of the facility. Do you know that Anaheim now, and I walked through it, homes are being built right almost adjacent to Disney World, almost adjacent, and the homes are selling for $500,000 upwards to almost $1 million because they're close to Disney World.
There's some question as to whether or not 555 is jumping the gun in the first place. Do you not need to rezone before you can actually build this amusement park?
We have our zoning for our mall. Our zoning for the amusement park, I'm sure, will come, and we're looking into that very seriously now.
But City Council still has to approve that rezoning. There's a problem.
Well, my people are doing that now.
Okay, so there will not be a problem with City Council?
I doubt it very much. City Council, government, can you imagine? This is bigger than all of us. It's bigger than City Council. It's bigger than government. It's bigger than us. It's the #1 tourist attraction in the world, bringing 8 to 14 million people to Canada. I mean, can you imagine? How could you even think of not giving a permission for a facility like this to go ahead when we have started? We have tasted the forbidden fruit, if you want, through our first facility. It is bringing now millions of people, 2 million people exactly, will come this year through this Fantasyland that we have now. And people are in awe. And I'm sure you and many of your visitors, when they come through it, can't imagine that this is here in Edmonton.
Has the government given you any indication yet as to whether or not they are going to give you this loan?
It doesn't look good, let's put it this way. We need the support of the people out there, the people who really want to help us, who really want to see this happen. We need these people to call their MLAs and plead with them as to make this facility go ahead. Because we're going ahead with whatever we're doing with our mall. That is definitely going ahead without question, with Fantasyland or without Fantasyland. It would be terrible if Fantasyland would not become a reality to make it the 8th or maybe 9th wonders of the world.
If they do not give you this loan, what are you going to do?
I'm just going to continue building the mall and making it the largest in the world without the most unbelievable
Without the amusement park?
Without the amusement park.
You have indicated that other cities have shown an interest in building this, in having you come and build this amusement park within their area.
Just this morning at 10 o'clock, I had a call from Harbourfront, Toronto. And this is owned by government. The Canadian government, the federal government, asking us if we'll participate in 96 acres to do what we're doing here if we would do it there. Just this morning at 10 o'clock. Now, I never anticipated this. We're ready to do something like this in BC. And also people have called, the people from the expo site, if we'll participate with them. This is so unique. We are so knowledgeable. We have gone through 2 years of this. We know exactly what we're going to do. We're 20 years ahead of Epcot. 20 years ahead of Epcot.
Are other governments willing to give you financial assistance, to give you the loan that you're after here?
Yes.
They are?
Definitely.
And you will take it elsewhere if you have to?
We will. We love Alberta. We're Albertans. We love the people here. We want to do something here that will become a legacy, if you want, that will never be forgotten. Everyone will benefit through our facility that we're want to put together.
Okay, if you'd like to talk to Mr. Stahl, we'd love to hear from you. Our lines are going to be open. However, before we do that, let's take a look and let's see what kinds of proposals will be included within this indoor amusement park. We have some film footage for you, we have some pictures, and maybe you can take us on a tour if you wouldn't mind, Rubin.
This is a space odyssey spanning 12 stories high. It is the most unbelievable. You can actually have flotation rooms and fight Star Wars within. If you see those bubbles in the rear of the thing. This is a complete science center like you have in Toronto. It is so educational. It is so extremely educational that people will come from all parts of Western